For 40 years, the Baltimore Times has brought you positive stories about positive people. Welcome to the next chapter of storytelling. I'm your host, Zuryna, and this is Be More Positive. Today's special guest is one that I'm super excited about, Simone Phillips, the founder of Charm City Table. Welcome.
Thank you, Zuryna. I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Baltimore Times.
Yes, this is like my third or fourth time interviewing you, but in a different format. So I'm so excited to have you here.
I know. We've since become buddies, too. Foodie buddies. We'll go out and have some fun and catch up. So I'm excited to do this interview now that we're like really connected.
I know. That sounds like this is going to be a good one. But before we get started, I do want to do a mental health check-in. There's so much going on in the world. So how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah. I mean, the world is crazy. But I don't know. I feel like sometimes that can be the experience of being a Black person who grew up, specifically in Baltimore. You experience a lot of, sometimes interesting and frankly dark things, but you just kind of keep going, and that's kind of how. And now it's kind of expanded globally, so that's kind of how I look at it. Like it's sometimes scary and sometimes anxiety inducing, but you find joy where you can. I
love it. Those little pockets of peace. Yes. That's what my therapist and I are talking about. Trying to find those pockets of peace.
I feel like I'm good at finding pockets of peace and joy, and it's not every day, but I try to find it most days.
I love that. Yeah. So with this interview, I want to be a little bit more personal. I feel like we know you as Charm City Table, the foodie, the boss, the entrepreneur. But I want to know about you, how you got your start. Like, what part of Baltimore did you grow up in? Tell me a little bit about your family, all of those things.
Yeah, so I was born in Baltimore City. We moved to the county Woodlawn area. I guess that's called Windsor Mill now. People get very specific. But that's where I grew up from about 6 years old until I moved out for college. But I was born in Mercy Hospital, to be specific.
Okay.
My family's from West Baltimore, so we grew up on the west side. Well, born on the west side, moved to West Baltimore County.
As they say, West Side certified. I'm a transplant, so I don't know the things.
West Side's the best side, yes. That's what everybody says. But yeah, that's me. That's my entire family. My mom, my dad's side, everybody's West Baltimore.
Okay. Yeah. Now, what high school did you go? Because I know people are real serious about their high schools.
Oh, yeah. I went to a Catholic school. I went to IND, Institute of Notre Dame. It is now closed, RIP, IND. But yes, I love telling people that I went to IND because it seemed like a small school, but then you always find somebody who knew somebody who went to IND and it was on Eager and Asquith, so that was over east.
Okay, not over east. See, look, the north, south, east, west. When I say I'm a transplant, I've never in my life used the directions to determine a location until I got to Maryland.
Oh, really?
So now I'm like,
do you know what like Dunbar is? Like Dunbar, the school.
Okay, so that's my point of reference.
IND is so close to Dunbar; it's literally walking distance.
Okay,
like
you real certified.
Yeah,
Okay, girl.
It was right across from Latrobe Homes. It was interesting times. Yeah.
Oh, you West Side certified for sure. Okay. So what did that upbringing teach you about community and the culture in Baltimore?
Yeah, growing up, my family is, specifically my mother's side, is very, very close. I have an aunt. She's like the matriarch. We call her Mama. She's the matriarch of our family. And she still lives in her spot on Madison Avenue in the Reservoir Hill. And that's where we had, all of our family gatherings and family traditions. And when I say family, it's like cousins that I feel like I still don't know, but we're probably at that function, like literally.
Ain't that the Black plight? You're like, hey, cousin,
like hundreds of people, like there's always a new face. And so I feel like that's where I learned community. We did everything together, like go to church. We would have Fat Tuesdays. I remember Pancake Day. That was like a thing. I know it just passed. And I was like, oh my gosh, we used to go to my aunt's house and eat a bunch of pancakes and like have breakfast for dinner. Like that was a family tradition that I always look forward to. So any major holiday cookouts. And so I feel like that's where I got the sense of community from is having those gatherings, sitting at the kids' table and, eating good food and connecting with people that way.
Oh, I love that. So it sounds like that's kind of where your love of food started because now you're Charm City Table, the food blogger.
I think so.
Food.
Yeah.
Was it a specific tradition, a specific meal that got you started into the food scene?
I can't say it was a specific tradition that got me into it. I will say going to college probably, I was always a big foodie. my family gathered over food. My mom's a big from scratch kind of cook. Like, she still will make bread, so you starting with the flour.
You grew up in an ingredients house.
Yeah, in an ingredients household. Like, microwave, we never had a microwave, never a Lunchable. Like, wow. I'm so serious. I would like sneak to my cousin's house to like try to try those things because she was like, absolutely not. It's too much sodium. Like, she was just so big on that. So yeah, I think now I see it as a benefit. Then I was like, you're not being any fun.
Yeah, you thought she was trying to keep you from all the fun
stuff. But she did give me good taste because now I can tell if something's really, freshly made or if something is microwaved or like, processed. Like, I think I have the palate for that because I just didn't grow up eating certain things.
I was gonna say, do you think that informs how you critique food?
Oh, yeah.
Because that's like part of your upbringing.
Yeah, I didn't realize that when I first started, but as I started growing and getting more experience, I was like, I think that I can taste that distinction.
Yeah, I can taste the freezer burn.
Because, yes, I can taste the freezer. I can taste the processing. I can taste that this was sweetened, like, not with raw or pure, like, sugar. Like, I can taste that it was like a corn. Like, I don't know. It's a taste.
It gives food critic vibes. You remember Ratatouille when the guy came in? I know people be scared when you come in.
No, not everybody, but sometimes, yeah. But I will say, I think that like my, this whole thing kind of started from me or just being interested in food and dining in restaurants. I went to college in Richmond, Virginia, and I didn't realize that Baltimore had like staples, like Baltimore yak or the onion pickle, like very specific stuff that I was so not able to find in Richmond. And so I was like, oh, I miss my city. I miss like the food and the staples that we have here. So that honestly, and then I would ask around, do you know where to get like this yak from? And people like, what
are you talking? What language are you speaking?
Yes,
you know what? We are so similar because I spent a year in Norfolk, Virginia after living here for like 8 years. And I was saying the same thing. I'm like, where can I get a nice little crab cake? And they looking at me like, crab cake?
Right, what you talking about? Yeah.
This is Nova. We don't have that. So I'm like, okay, that is so true. Like, the Baltimore food culture is so distinct.
Yes, it's so distinct. Yeah. And I don't think I knew that at the time. I mean, I'm, you just navigating the world as like a child.
An 18-year-old just wild-eyed.
Yeah, so that's when I was like, ooh, like, look at us. We have our, like, own
This episode of Be More Positive is brought to you by Elevation Global Media Group. Elevation Global Media Group empowers individuals, businesses, and ministries to be heard across TV, radio, and social media. Whether you need professional production, branding, media, or marketing solutions, Elevation Global Media Group is your go-to. Amplify your message, expand your reach, elevate your life with EGMG. Visit elevationglobalmediagroup.com and let's elevate together. So when you started Charm City Table, like, what were you trying to accomplish with that? And for those of you who don't know, Charm City Table is your Instagram handle. It's your business. It's your rise, your food.
Yes, my
environment
child.
now. Yes, your
everything.
baby. Yes. But like, what were you trying to accomplish with that? And why Charm City Table?
I think at the time I was back in Baltimore after college. I was working in Harbor East. And,
my favorite area.
Yeah, it's such a cool little.
So cute.
And I liked how all those neighborhoods are connected. I did a lot of walking back then from like Federal Hill and like Locust Point all the way back around to Canton. Like, I just love how those neighborhoods are all connected. But that's what I was doing. I was working. I was young and I was going to different happy hours and restaurants with my coworkers. And that's when I just realized our food scene was like so dynamic. It had so many different things, so many places you could like pop into and have. I remember it's a closed restaurant now. I don't even remember the name, but I remember one day we were like trying small bites and like Prohibition cocktails. And then the next day we were over here like having like seafood. And then we were at like Abbey Burger trying the peanut butter burger. Like we were just I was trying all these different foods within walking distance of my job that I just became really excited about what Baltimore had to offer in the food world. And at the time I started it as almost like a diary for myself, like just to document all of the places I tried. And when I started Charm City Table, I had like a little slogan, like I only post the good stuff. So it was all of my favorite.
So cute.
Yeah, what's cute? So I used to only post like my favorite things from those visits. And, at the time there was no TikTok or video.
It was very early.
It was photos. So it was just like a photo diary of like the different foods in the restaurants
look
that
what
I tried.
Built
yeah.
Now you have over 200,000 followers. I see your face we were just talking off camera that I saw your name in a playbill as the resident influencer.
Yeah.
So, oh wow, you started from taking photos to now you're living a dream. You're getting paid for this. Like, how does that
exciting.
feel?
I love theater, so that was such an honor for Baltimore Center Stage to like welcome me as their resident influencer, because I don't think, you're doing food, people don't really know your interests. So I don't know how, maybe because probably I post a lot of going to plays in my stories. I was like, how did I even find out I was interested in that? But what was your question?
I was going to say, like, how does that feel being able to, you started with just food and now you've been able to do all these things. How does that feel to be able to say I've done it?
Yeah, I know. It feels great. I think that's why when you said a mental health check-in, it's like, how are things going? Like, I feel like I'm so booked and busy.
Yeah.
Nowadays with things that I actually enjoy doing, because that was also the thing I used to, and sometimes say yes to every little thing. And I feel like the past couple of months I've tried to be really particular about things that I say yes to and things that bring me joy or like are intriguing. So it feels amazing to like be in that space to get to choose. You're not like trying to say, I need to take this opportunity because it's my next thing up. It's like, do I want to do this? Does this make me feel good? So that feels like living the dream. That choice, that option, having those options and being able to make them for myself.
I love that freedom, that flexibility.
Yes, exactly.
Now, one thing that I love about your content is that you make it a point to showcase Black and minority-owned businesses. Why are you so intentional with that?
I think because, again, this is such a personal thing for me, Charm City Table. Like, it is for Baltimore. It's for everybody who really wants to engage with it. Mm-hmm. But it still is a lot of me in there. And I think when I started, it's like almost, going back to my childhood, when I think of like who the chefs are and who the restaurant owners are, like you almost always think of like white guys. Like you think of, I don't know, Emerald Lagasse or like Gordon
Fieri.
Ramsay or Guy Fieri. And of course, that there are Black people in that space. But I think I just wanted to keep putting that on my feed and on for people to see that Baltimore has so many Black chefs and like Black owned restaurants. And even beyond that, like Latino owned, Asian owned restaurants. Like I wanted people to see the diversity, and be proud of that. Like be proud that they're from a city or that they live in the city or that they're visiting a city that has so many options and so much diversity. And I want them to like think of those people when they think of chefs and restaurant owners. And that was just like something I wanted to think of. So I kind of just put that out there for others to do the same.
For sure. Now, this is a controversial question. I've seen it a lot on Threads, on X. I know we're getting into it. But do you think that Baltimore gets the culinary recognition that it deserves?
No, but I do think it's getting there. Like with everything, progress can be slow. I think we have... in the social media era, there's like, the delayed gratification is non-existent. But I do think, like this year, the James Beard Awards, which people kind of call the Oscars or the Grammy of like the food world here in America, we had 4 restaurants on that list. Baltimore had 4 restaurants this year, and that's like unheard of.
Have you visited any of the restaurants that were nominated?
I visited all of the restaurants that were nominated. Yeah, of course.
So you think they were great nominees? They were just well-deserved.
I do think they were great nominees. There were a couple that I was surprised, but not because they were bad. It was just like, how did they scout this one out?
Like, how did you know about this?
Yeah, but I visited all of them, but I was really excited to see that. I know people really want Baltimore in the Michelin Guide, but as I get to look into some of those and, as I've become more knowledgeable about that kind of prestigious space or the award-winning space in the food world, you kind of see the rules and regulations and the money exchange or whatever. And so I think we're getting there. Like I said, no, I don't think we get the recognition it deserves, but I think the culture is there and people are really tapping into the culture right now. And so I think in a couple years we'll see Baltimore's foods world everywhere.
Baltimore is such a gritty, like, we're going to take it. Like, the chefs here, they're going to take that. So I think you're right. We're on to something.
Yeah, I think we're on to something. And you see it, like, on socials. Everybody's like, oh, Baltimore is the best food. Baltimore's food is better than D.C. Like, you'll see people start to say that a lot. And when I first started, you know, I've been doing this since 2017.
Yeah.
I started really being heavy on social media probably 2020. People were like, yeah, right. Are you like, no, Baltimore, nobody comes to Baltimore to eat. So to see people like stand 10 toes down on that, and they might not even be from here. It's like a random person who visited. I'm like, wow, like the minds are really starting to change. The culture is definitely shifting.
And it's more than just crab cakes here. Like, I want people to know that the Baltimore food here is so good. Now, something that you said to me earlier.
Oh, wait, one more thing. You know what I always get to now? Sometimes people will be like, Baltimore is only good for just food. Like, I get that now, which I'm like, oh, like this.
We're an arts girl now.
Yes, now I'm like, now, and I think that's why the residency is so cool too, because I get to spread the word about the arts here in the creative space of Baltimore. But I think that's so funny that now people are like, Baltimore didn't have good food. Baltimore only has good food. That's the only, and I'm like, come on, guys. Stop.
Baltimore is not a monolith. She is evolving,
she is not a monolith. That's
my
right.
gosh. But what I was saying is that something that you mentioned to me, I feel like it's synonymous with Baltimore. We love a trendy restaurant. You said something about peanut butter burgers. I've heard like garlic fries. There's a place that gives girl dinner. Like,
girl dinner. Everybody's doing a girl dinner right now. Yes.
So from your culinary experience and your expertise, what makes a staple restaurant versus a trendy restaurant?
Oh, I honestly think what makes a staple restaurant is the chef or the ownership kind of having something that they created with their. It's almost like an art, you know. Not almost. It is an art. It's a creative endeavor, and I think when the chefs and owners like sit down and come up with something that's creatively their own. That's kind of what, and people respond to it well. They're getting a lot of good feedback. They care. It's intentional. I think that's what creates a good staple versus, you know what's trending right now and you throw it on your menu. And that's not necessarily bad. You know, if you do a trend well, you think you can execute a trend well, go for it. You know, get that.
I'm tired of the Hennessy trend, though.
Get that customer.
I'm tired. We don't need no more Hennessy wings.
Not the Hennessy wings. Not the Hennessy Casamigos lemon peppers.
No, absolutely not.
No.
I'm through
but
with
like
that
girl
trend.
Dinners, like I think that's such a cute thing. Most people have Caesar salad on their menu. They have a truffle fry. You throw
a little protein on there because we're in the protein era.
You throw a little protein on there. I think it's a cute way to get people in there. But I mean, if you're just chasing trends come and go. So now after the trend, nobody wants. You know,
there's no longevity.
No one wants
in that.
Hennessy wings anymore. Now you don't have a restaurant. You know, now you don't have customers. So
no shade to anybody using Hennessy wings. I'm so sorry.
Right? Yeah, no.
I'm gonna eat your Hennessy wings. Oh, I'm sorry.
They might be good. You never know. Somebody might do a good one. But yeah, I think that is the difference. You see so many different cool, interesting concepts. And then you see so many trends. Like remember everybody always talks about, and I rarely see grass walls anymore, but like. Everybody was like the grass wall.
What a time, grass walls.
The neon lights. Like you saw a lot of those a couple of years ago. Now it's
calming down. We're in the calming
You don't really
aesthetic.
walk into a place and there's a grass wall and neon lights as often as you did maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So
yeah, people are changing with the times.
That's
but
exactly
to your
right.
point, you know, social media and marketing is so big. So how can local restaurants better use social media, better use influencers and content creators to further propel their industry, especially when we're oversaturated as it is?
I think that's a great question. There's a million ways that you could do it, but I would start with, I think 95% of this job is relationships. Yeah. And I think that's something that gets heavily overlooked in the food, influencer, restaurant, hospitality industry space. So my advice is always to get to know the people who you want to work with. Invite them out to dinner or to your restaurant or whatever it might be. If you're, into theater, invite them out to a show, whatever, and get to know who they are as people and what they believe in and see what ways you can work together. Sometimes, things are strictly transactional, but when you're handling local, small business, I think it's much better of a partnership. So, you don't have to get to know them on a personal level, but you get to know what they believe in and see the ways in which you can work together. I think those have been some of my favorite partnerships, better executed partnerships.
Yeah, and you can feel when it's organic and when there's a genuine like communication piece or a community piece to it. So
but in that same thing, I would tell people just not to write that off. I think that's always been, and it's getting better, but that's always been a big point of like piece of like tension. Like, do they like influencers? Do they like content creators? Do they think we're all like hacks or like people just trying to take money out of their space or eat a free meal? And like, of course, like every industry, like those people totally exist. But I think there's so many more people who are passionate about the space. And I'll even say that there are also a lot of ways to make way more money in this space. Like as an influencer, you could take a McDonald's check for, $10,000, $20,000, like no exaggeration. Yeah. But working with local businesses, when people stay local, it's usually because they either are just starting or they have a passion for it if they've grown.
And I feel like you can really see that as the consumer who has a passion for it. So appreciate that advice. And I hope people are listening to that. I hope
so too. I do.
Especially in this food scene.
Yes, because we can all work and elevate together. I think that's really the thing for me.
Community and working together.
Yes, exactly, always.
Okay, so are you ready to play a little game?
Yes.
It's called Be More Baltimore. Just a little rapid fire since you're Charm City table. So the first question that I have, when you want to show someone the heart of Baltimore, like a transplant, like me, think of me.
Yes.
Where are we going first?
Well, for you, we're going to get pho.
But okay, well, maybe don't use me.
Right, yes,
we're going to get pho,
yes. That's what we're going to do with you. But with, if somebody has just never been to Baltimore, and it's funny you say that because I have met a lot of new people lately.
And I'm sure they're asking you for your recommendation. I mean, of course, who else are you going to go to? You.
Of course, I'm taking them to get a crab cake. Like, that's the first thing. Or crabs. If it's warm outside, we're doing the crab deck experience. We're taking them out to like a Nick's Fish House or something like that, so that they can sit on that deck and crack those crabs, and I can teach them how to do that. If not, like right now, winter, I had a friend I took recently to Coco's because he had never had the 11-ounce
I'm not going to tell you I've never had Coco's.
I know you haven't, so I have to take you to.
You have to take me. I can't go with anyone else but you.
No, it has to be. Now that you've said it, we're total that.
It's on camera now.
We're going to go get a crab cake, but that's where I would take them to get a crab cake first. Like they have to have the crab cake experience if they're going to be in Baltimore.
The full experience.
And then honestly, I feel like I always want to show people the Baltimore that they don't expect. So I always like to get an idea of what people like. So if they're more of an aesthetic person, I'm going to take them to like a really good, like beautifully aesthetic restaurant. Like I had a buddy who's into like Mediterranean cuisine, so I took them to Amora and stunning restaurant. Yes. And I mean, that was ended up being my favorite visit ever. We did a restaurant week thing, and that was absolutely delicious. And they got to see, there's this beautiful gritty side of Baltimore, but there's also elegance and it's really a
charming
here.
city. Like I tell people all the time, charming city. Charm City, it's called that for a reason.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Okay, so what's your favorite Baltimore attraction? Like to that point, you told us the food spaces, but center stage, of course.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, it really depends on what they like. Because me, I could get into anything. Yeah. But
you a fun time.
Yes, I can. I really. So like, I've had friends that I've taken to Druid Hill Park because they're like, they have that whole, what do you call it, frisbee golf or whatever. They have that whole field. I've done that. I love Druid Hill Park. So that could probably be one of my staples. Like I'll just go and sit there. Sometimes I'll lay out a blanket and like have lunch and answer a couple emails.
My marketing brain is like, you need to curate an experience out there. Charm City
I know,
table
I
at
always
Druid
think
Hill
about
Park.
that. And then
Somebody
I'm like,
put that into the environment.
Well, I think about curating these experiences and I'm like, well, what kind of experience? Because depending on what day, I'm like...
It's a different vibe.
Right, it's a different vibe. Recently, I went sledding down Fed Hill.
Sledding?
I know, like, when it snowed real bad.
Oh, yeah.
I took like a lid from my house and just slid down the hill in my 30s. I was very sore.
You're being a kid again.
It was so much fun. Well, I hadn't done it. I was like, I don't think I've had that experience since I was a kid. So I'm bored. Let me go ahead and do it. So
the Baltimore experience.
Water taxi. I used to work at the Baltimore Water Taxi through college. And so I always like to take people on a boat ride on the harbor. So that's always a fun one. Or then I have friends locally who I met during my water taxi days, Vibe and Wave Charters, who own a boat. So if I'm doing like
Vibe and Wave, okay,
yeah. So if I'm doing like a group thing, I'll usually get with them to
put
do
that
their
on?
boat or
Okay, I'll be on
RS
the
Yacht
next one.
Club.
Oh, you have a lot of
one. I have a lot of boat friends.
We're gonna be outside this summer. That's what I'm hearing.
RS Yacht Club, Captain Jim. I love her boat. Yeah, if we usually do something
every summer
as she launches the season, so
stay on the lookout for that.
Yes.
That's what I'm hearing. My invitation will be in my text message.
Your invite will be in the mail. Bring your camera so you can do some content capture.
My tripod and will.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so where is the best place to get dirty yak?
Oh, right now, well, I personally like Mike's, which is Joy Garden up on Harford Road. That's my personal favorite. But
I'm gonna have to bring you with me to order it. Oh my gosh, friend.
You just
come
order
with me.
it. You just tell them you want.
Because you did all the extras and fixins and extra this and all
so
that.
shy about it.
I'm shy.
Now,
you gotta practice
I tried Hop Hen recently, and is that on Pennsylvania Avenue? It might be.
Don't give me the line.
But yeah, theirs was my close second. But
Okay.
yeah, I like, yeah.
Okay, now finish this sentence. A Baltimore summer isn't complete without blank.
A crab cake and a snowball.
What kind of snowball?
Egg custard.
Egg custard. Everybody's saying egg custard. Okay.
What is your snowball?
I'm a Rita's girl. I like Italian
Wait a minute.
ice.
You're off topic. Okay.
Is that not a thing? I told you I'm a transplant.
Wait a minute. Now, wait. You know what? We need to do a whole Baltimore tour. Now I feel like
okay, content creator day.
Now it's curating in my head. We're going to get crabs, crab cakes, snowballs, not Rita's.
Okay, with egg
With
custard. And all of that.
Have you had egg custard?
And I've been here for so long, since 2004. Okay, add that to the list immediately,
Girl,
promptly.
Yes, this might need to happen like first day of spring. Like what's March 21st, March 22nd?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, finish this sentence too. One thing people misunderstand about Baltimore is blank.
Ooh, that's a good one. One thing people misunderstand about Baltimore is... Ooh, that's a tough
putting you on the
one.
spot.
Yeah. I think people misunderstand a lot of things about Baltimore, but I think they misunderstand. I think they misunderstand that it's a very creative and artistic city, and I think the people who are in it, like it's like if you know, you know. The people who are in it know that it's like a great, amazing, beautiful, dynamic art scene, but the people who don't kind of stay in their pockets, and they might enjoy their little pockets. Like, for instance, the food world is a perfect example of that. They don't realize, like, sometimes they're experiencing art, and sometimes they're experiencing someone's brainchild and their creativity, and that can translate to so many different things. You know, you dance, theater, song. You know, I go to so many live music events, like, throughout the week.
Baltimore is such a creative city.
It's such a creative city.
We're culinary, the city of seas, the charm city, culinary city. Yeah.
You can really get into a lot of creative spaces here and just have a good time and be connected to so many, like, frankly, famous, people.
Yeah.
And I don't think people always realize that. They think,
they only see the stereotypes.
They only see the stereotypes or the things that are trendy or viral. You know, it's like, okay, well, which I love. Baltimore Yak is trending right now. You know, they're like, oh, well, that's y'all's food scene. It's like, well, if you dig a little deeper, then you'll see the James Beard Awards, and then you'll see how, these people are like flying to Chicago eventually to go to an award show for their
putting
restaurants.
us on the map.
Yeah.
Putting us on the map.
Yeah, exactly.
So looking ahead and knowing what you know about the food scene, I would say what about our food scene excites you? Like, what are you excited to see on the horizon?
I'm excited for people really stretching their creative minds and tastes and all of that good stuff. I think we have our staples. And then that's another piece I love. I love how Baltimore it's a city that is creative, but it's a city that's also like traditional. Like we stick to our traditions. So I like seeing like our traditions be elevated. Like yesterday I had, I was at Ivy Hotel. I had a fun little etiquette class with Dr. Estenia. She was amazing. Wow. But they had a snowball for dessert, and it was like it was just like this. I have to show you a picture after we're done here. But
it was
post
it.
Yeah. It was like this fancy looking like like just a snowball, but they did it in a way that made it look elegant and beautiful, and like it belonged in a fine dining space. Yeah. And so like just that callback to Baltimore culture and a space like that, like I love that we do that, and I'd love for people to like get to experience that. Yeah, and that's what I always want to see more of. I'm like, yeah, do your stuff, but like remember you're in Baltimore and like pay homage to like these our Baltimore culture.
Absolutely. Now, if you could give a message to any young creative, aspiring content creator, aspiring chef, what would that piece of advice be?
It depends on what they got going on. But if I had to give some advice, I would just tell them that, if what they're working on, what they're passionate about is the thing that I think should guide them. People will give you all this advice and give you these black and kind of white answers about what you should do or how you should do it, or have this strict rule book about what's going to get you to your level of success. But I think being yourself and continuing to be the best version of yourself or whatever you created is how you feel fulfilled, but also what will more than likely take you to the next level. I mean, it's been my experience. Yeah. So that's what I would tell them.
Love that. Great advice.
They don't have to listen to what somebody else did or copy what somebody else did in order to be successful. It's them and their thing that's going to make them successful.
And there's no rule book for that.
There's no rule book to being yourself. You just try to be the best person you can be.
Do what you can.
Hone in on your skills, continue to get better at what you're doing. Yeah. Realize when things are your industry, get to know your industry. If things have changed, see what ways they have changed and see how you can fit within those changes, but while still being yourself. It's just a lot of being yourself and being aware of the world around you.
I love that answer. So what does be more positive mean to you?
Be more positive means just having an optimistic outlook about our city. Yeah. I think I've always loved Baltimore. I always loved, like I said, even when we moved to the county, we were in Baltimore, like the city, a lot. And so I always had a love for those Baltimore staples, going to the corner store and getting an onion pickle, going to the Inner Harbor and people watching and just being able, learning all the fun dances and songs, singing along to a good Club Mix hit. So it's just celebrating that and, seeing the way in which Baltimore is shifting and people are moving into the city and seeing how they love our cultures, a lot of them as much as we do. I think that's what it means to be more positive, continuing to spread that love and spread the culture.
I love that. As a transplant, I think I fall in love with the city because of how much the people who live here and are from here love the city.
I know, you do. That
resonates with me. I love it here. I do. So how can we keep up with all things Charm City Table? What do you have next? How can we follow along?
Oh, we have so many things coming up. But you can follow me on Charm City Table. It's on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads. I have a lot of fun.
I love watching you on Threads.
I have a lot of fun on Threads. But we have so much fun stuff coming up, in the food world, in the creative space. I'm currently, is also one of my fun brain children. I have launched a creative thing for creatives. We're vertical creatives, so people who create on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts can have their short form content screened at the Maryland Film Festival this year.
What?
Yeah, so that's going to be at Parkway Theater April 8th. And it was just a way that I could support the creative community. And, really people are making some beautiful cinematic videos. And I was this is a movie. Let
me know if you need a moderator for that.
I do need a moderator. I said I was going to talk to you about that. So, yeah, that's what I'm excited about. And just more celebrating the food scene and Baltimore culture and all of that good stuff. So follow me on Charm City Table for all of that.
Yes, I'm so excited excited. And, I'm going to be tuned in because I'm a big bag. So I'll be there watching along.
Same.
Yes,
we're in the same boat.
Right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for telling us, being more positive and talking to us about your journey. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for tuning in. This has been Be More Positive.